Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Proper Picks podcast. We are into the best bets edition for the show this week. Quickly, we will recap last week's. We went 9-6, almost 11 units of profit there, 10.82 in the positive, a nice little rebound, kind of got in our groove there with the college football. Quickly, we had a 2-game lay in Major League Baseball early in the week on Tuesday. We took the Mets and Houston, and a 2-unit parlay. It was plus 107 on the line. Big swing and a whiff there. Houston loses 8-2, and the Mets lose 4-3. Missed both of them. Ugly. I think we took DeGrom on the mound for the Mets. Didn't show up. Not much you can say there when you miss both legs of the parlay. So we were 0-1 in baseball, minus 2 units for the week. As we get into football, the baseball bets start slowing up. Already laid one for this week. We dropped that on Twitter yesterday. We had two bets. We'll dive into that next week. Moving into college football, it was a nice run for us over Saturday. We went 6-1 plus 13.52 units for the week. We had the 5-unit, our version of a mega whale. It's probably one of the bigger bets we'll lay all year is 5 units. On Wake Forest minus 7. We talked about this last week. When we saw this on the previous Sunday come out, already went and hopped on it with full anticipation that this thing was going to blow up and get higher and higher as the week goes, and it did. It went all the way up to 13 before kickoff, and that's what closing line value is about. Wake Forest was never in doubt in this game, which was nice because when you sling a bigger unit bet out there, you might be a little nervous with the risk you've put out, but it was really a beautiful thing. Wake Forest wins by 20. Was, like I said, never really in question. UNC minus 6.5. This one was in question. It was a close game. UNC had moments where they were about to pull away, and they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. 2 turnovers in the second half while around midfield left Georgia State with the door open. We get away with it here and get the 3-unit pickup. UNC wins by 7. Nice morning when you're up 8 units on the 11 a.m. games. I mean, that was just a beautiful start. We really were guaranteed profit the rest of the way for the day. Moving into Kentucky, this was one we talked about. I really felt like Kentucky was getting disrespected here. Florida got a lot of love for that Utah win, and deservingly so, but I thought Kentucky had the better team, and it was a good ball game. It was about where I thought it would be in the sense that I didn't think Kentucky would run away with it on the road, but Florida just didn't look all worldly, if you will, and Kentucky gets the win there. So we had the plus 6, which we scooped the unit, and we had Kentucky on the money line at plus 195 as well, which picked up 1.95 units for us. And then moving into the Pac-12, USC versus Stanford, same deal here. When we talked about this last week, it was more of a feeling here that Lincoln Riley was going to want to put a little stamp on the season real quick and let everybody know that they're here. And it was an easy game to do so because Stanford is not any good this year. They will probably be at the bottom of the Pac-12. Could potentially be maybe the worst team in the Pac-12. Who knows? Cal and some other teams might be vying for that. But Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, they just look sharp. They end up winning by 2 scores, a little closer at the finish, but they were up 20 in the third quarter, so you could kind of sit back a little bit and feel good about it. As long as it didn't get crazy at the end, we kind of had, a good feeling there in the third quarter we were going to get another unit pickup. We added a card ad on Twitter with Mississippi State and Arizona over 57. We got close. 55 was the total for the game. Only L of the day, so I'm not going to be mad about it, but it was one of those ones where a score or 2 in the fourth quarter would have been friendly for us, and we got none. So that was our only L of the Saturday. And then if you look at the bottom here, we had the 4-game parlay. It was plus 1230 on the money line. We only threw a half unit on it. We're never going to get crazy on these parlays. So it was going to pay 6.15 units if we hit. We hit 3 of the 4 with Wake minus 12, Kentucky plus 6, and USC minus 8.5. But we pushed the UNC 7 because when we took this parlay, the odds were kind of moving around a couple of days later. As you see, the Wake Forest was all the way up to 12.5, but it was my lock of the week, and I would have taken that thing all the way up to probably 14.5, 15, somewhere in that range. And then UNC had bumped up half a point. We still liked it. We took it. It pushes. So we ended up only getting 3.05 units out of the parlay, but still a nice little addition to the day. Like you saw, 13.52 for Saturday. Moving into Sunday, Ravens -6.5, easy win. 1 unit to pick up there. Commanders -3 for a half unit, not the easiest of wins, but they end up winning 28-22. It was a grinder game. Carson Wentz played really well, in my opinion, for his first game with the new team. And then we got into Sunday Night Football. We had some card ads. I was just under the impression that this game was going to be high scoring and that Dak was going to look really sharp. Tom was going to come out, do what Tom does, which is put up points. And this was going to be an easy cash for us. And we ended up taking a 0.55 unit L on the game. We missed the Dallas over in the first quarter, over 3.5, as they only had 3. Tampa, we hit, they had 6. And then we needed over 9.5 from both teams combined for the first quarter, and we take the L there as it only sat at 9. Pretty disappointing considering they got down in the red zone 3 times and we couldn't get a touchdown. We really just needed the touchdown and the field goal, and we were going to be there. So we took a 0.55 unit L there for that game. And then Denver, we had that one on the board so early last week. I bought into the Russell Wilson wanting to go in and make a statement. Didn't know he was going to be handcuffed by his coach there, but they had their opportunities. They got on the 1-yard line twice and walked away with no points. The Seattle defense just stood up all game. And a lot of people are riding the 49ers this week because they think that Denver was the better team and just didn't really perform when they needed to. And then we had the 4-game lay. This was the tricky one. We dropped this on Sunday on Twitter. Miami first quarter -0.5 point. Baltimore -220 on the first half money line against the Jets. The Commanders money line, no spread there. And then Tampa, Dallas over 24.5 for the first half. We hit Miami, Baltimore, and Washington all in the morning, and that meant it left me with 6 hours of decision-making to hedge. I actually put up a post on Twitter, a little Shakespeare, to hedge or not to hedge. And I was going back and forth and back and forth. I'm not a big hedge guy. I feel like when I make a lay, I like the games for a reason. I really don't want to go the other side. But when you're looking at getting profit, the smarter play would have been to throw in under 24.5 or say, I don't know, a unit and a half, and it'll guarantee you profit on either side. Chose not to, bit me in the ass. I believe there was 15 in the first half. So we take the L on the parlay. 0.5 units on that as well. So for Sunday, we end up going 3 and 4. Well, I'm going to say for the NFL, because the Denver game was on Monday, we go 3 and 4 minus 0.7 units. But overall, a great week. Almost $1,100 for us in the bag. That was nice. We'll move over to our preview and best bets for the week 3 in college football and week 2 in the NFL. Alrighty, sliding over into the proper picks best bets for this weekend. Quickly, we can recap the all plays section over there. The total has moved to 504, 577. We are up 59.7 units all time. College football has turned in the right direction. We were obviously down 4 units going into the week. We're now plus 8.88 units for the college football season, minus 0.7 for the NFL. And then obviously over to the right over here, you can see our future bets. The Bama one, 3 units at plus 190 to win the Natty. Auburn over 6.5 wins. Chiefs on the Super Bowl. Jags under 6 wins. And Steelers under 7.5. And really all of them look solid at the moment. Bama, number 2 in the country. They'll be there at the end. Auburn will have to win a game or 2 they're not supposed to, and that was the theory all along. Kansas City looked great in week 1. Jags lose week 1 in a heater, but lose. And the Steelers actually win week 1 in Cincinnati, so that brings that number now down to 6.5. We're going to have to stare at that one probably a little hard, but I got good faith in that one. Moving into college football for Saturday, first game on the board, we've got a unit. And I want to be clear as we look at the college football and NFL units we're giving out this week. It is a little lighter than what we've had in week 2. And then obviously in week 1, we only laid 1 bet. Week 0, I guess is what we'll call it. So, and we'll give the reasons here why. College football, we've got Oklahoma at minus 11. I'm hearing a lot of chatter about people taking Nebraska in this game. And this was one I stared at really quickly when it came out. It went down from 13 to 11, and I said, I'm hopping on this. We've got a unit on it. Just firmly believe that Nebraska's terrible. Oklahoma's solid. Don't get me wrong. We're gonna bet this one because we believe Oklahoma is a good football team. But Scott Frost exit, sometimes this can cause distractions. You got some players here who probably believe a lot in Scott Frost. That's why they came to Nebraska. They're probably bummed The interim coach is always a guy who's with the program. I'm sure the players like him, but I don't see an interim coach being able to make a difference on this Nebraska team. They lose to Northwestern. They lose to Georgia Southern last week, and we're going to tell me that Oklahoma ain't going to go out and steamroll them. I think Brett Venables has a chance here, like Lincoln Riley did last week against for USC, to make a statement against, while Nebraska's terrible, against a named team, and what better time to do it. It is on the road. I see this thing being 14.5 if it was in Norman, but we're going to take Oklahoma for the 11 there. I see this game being more of a 40-38 to 28, say 40 to 28, 41 in that range, or, maybe you see Nebraska not be able to chip it into the 20s. Brett Venables' defense is looking good. I've said I'll put the final total at 41-27. We get the cover there. North Texas will travel to UNLV, and this is a game. These are the games I love. We've got a half unit on it. Nobody is going to talk about this football game, but when I look at it and saw what North Texas did week 1 against UTEP, they're just, their team is the Mean Green, and they're, the nickname kind of mascot falls with them. They play very good defense, and I just think UNLV is getting a little propped up here because of a close loss to Cal. I think Cal is awful. Notre Dame is a 12-point favorite over Cal this weekend and just lost to Marshall. So that should tell you where Cal is. I just think it's a little hyped up from seeing what they did last week. I see North Texas being able to run the ball, control the clock. We're getting 3 here. So, miracle walk-off field goal from UNLV, and we still get a push here. But I like North Texas to win. We almost sprinkled the money line, but we're going to take the 3 points as just a safety measure. Moving into BYU, that's a 2:30 game on ABC, and it might be the biggest game of the weekend. BYU at Oregon, 2 ranked teams. BYU gets a big win over Baylor last week. Oregon is still recovering from that Georgia beatdown they suffered 2 weeks ago. And it's simple as to me. I don't believe in Oregon. After watching that week 1 game, I know it's Georgia, and I know they got all the players in the world, and it was in Atlanta, and everything was going for them. But that team just looked god-awful. They play Eastern Washington this week, which is a scrap game. That's like playing a high school team. So here's another test right out the gate for Bo Nix. And I honestly think Bo will play better, but I see BYU hanging in this game and keeping it close. Baylor is not a slouch. And keep in mind, BYU was without their 2 best receivers in that game against Baylor. We're going to see them back here against Oregon. I just see this, and we actually went up a point. We would have gotten this at plus 3.5 on Monday. We ended up getting it at Tuesday at 4. So I'm going to ride with BYU. We lose by a field goal. We push the bet. I like them to win. We got a half unit on that one. And then moving into the late game on Saturday night, it's a 9:30 kick at my time. USC minus 12 against Fresno State. This one's been moving. It was at 13.5, then it moved all the way down to 11. We got it at 12 for a unit. Simple as this again. I think Lincoln Riley's trying to make a statement. They murder Rice, which was they should have done. They handle Stanford with no problem. Fresno is a team that typically gives these Pac-12 teams problems because they have players. They score a lot of points. When you get a team that you're probably taking a little lightly that's got a good offense, that spread can always get a little dicey, but it would not surprise me here if USC runs away with this. I think they're trying to make a statement out there for recruiting measures, and Caleb Williams is, a top 5 candidate for the Heisman. I don't think he wins it, but he's a great player and he's playing well. Nothing to me about this ball game says anything differently than 42-21, 42-17 USC. Lock it in. It's going to end about midnight my time, so we'll stay up a little late to watch it, but and once again, on that college football side, you'll see there it's a very casual Saturday for us. That's 3 units out in college football in single bets. Not massive, but once again, as the slate rolled out, I didn't see anything that deserved, in my mind, a 5-unit mega whale, a 3-unit nice little slight play. So we're just going to be casual about it and try and scoop up these 3 units. Moving into the NFL, we've got the Commanders plus 2.5. They are a dog to the Detroit Lions. This is the first. I saw 24 straight games. Detroit's been an underdog, and now they are a favorite, and wouldn't surprise me here in the slightest if they blow that. The funny part about that game against the Eagles was the Eagles were murdering them. They come back. They make it close. Everybody says, Detroit's got the fight. They got it. No, they got Jared Goff is what they have. They're going to be down. They play from behind in a lot of games. That's why their fantasy guys are always so good because they throw the ball 40 times in the second half to try and make comebacks. I just believe here that Carson Wentz and them will come into this game. I wish we could have gotten this at 3, but I didn't want to buy it. I didn't want the juice on the play. We're going to put a half unit on the Commanders plus 2.5. I just think Carson Wentz looked great week 1. They'll go on the road. They'll play in a dome. There won't be any weather issues. As we know, Wentz has played in domes before with Indianapolis. Comfortable there. I think Antonio Gibson and Scary Terry will do their thing. The defense from Washington is sneaky good. I look for it to be a little more on the low-scoring side, 24-21, 27-21. I think Commanders win this outright. Moving to my second one, we've got another half-unit play for you guys. Ravens minus 3.5 against Miami. Ravens handle the Jets. They could have won by 60. They could have won by 3. Everyone knew the Ravens were winning that ball game, but they look solid. Lamar's got something to prove here. Turns down a mega max $250 million deal. He's got to prove it if he wants more money, and I think that the Dolphins will come back down to earth a little bit here after a nice win over New England. They're going to go on the road. McDaniel gets a taste of what it's like to play in Baltimore. Those games are always weird. The Baltimore defense, to me, is the reason why I'm betting this game. I think Lamar and them will do their thing, but I think that the Ravens are going to give Tua and them fits. The Patriots gave Tua and them fits, just didn't capitalize on Tua's mistakes, and I think Marlon Humphreys will do his thing, trying to limit Tyreek Hill to what he can. Great corner there, Pro Bowl corner, and I think it's just going to end up in one of these games where it's 35-30, 35-28 Ravens, somewhere in that range. A lot of people are expecting a lower scoring game, but I think this thing's going to be hot because I think McDaniel also wants to come out and show that he's an offensive guy and can sling some points on this defense. But I like the Ravens minus 3.5. Moving to my next game, it is my bet of the week, and it should be no shocker. I would imagine half the world's on this ball game, but we got the Bengals early. As soon as the Dak injury went into effect and the line reversed, because the Cowboys opened up as a favorite before the Dak injury, it was the look-ahead line. We got it early. It's all the way up to 8.5 now. I expect this thing. I would imagine this thing goes all the way to 10. We got 4 days before the game, so we put 3 units down on it. It's my bet of the week. Like I said, I just don't believe. I don't believe with Dak this team was gonna win 12 games. The offense doesn't have the weapons it needs. Zeke looks slow. Or is not as explosive as he was. Pollard's just not an RB1. The receivers is CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of guys you've never heard of. Tight end Schultz is a good player, but now we've got Rush coming in at quarterback for the Cowboys. And let's just be honest here, guys. I am a Cowboys fan, so when I'm betting against them, it's a good opportunity for you to tail a bet because this thing could get ugly. I think Joey B bounces back in a big way. 4 picks last week. And the Dallas defense is the only reason this thing will stay close. And I just think the Bengals are going to score the points that you score in an NFL football game, and the Cowboys might not score a touchdown. It wouldn't shock me either if you see the Cowboys score first. Everybody in the world's going to be freaking out and saying, oh, my God, I can't believe I took the Bengals. Just pump the brakes. Bengals are going to win this game by probably 14 to 17 points at minimum, in my opinion. Moving down to the last game, the Vikings plus 2.5. This one's, it's tricky to me because I want to think that Kirk Cousins is going to blow a ball game. I don't know. I'm trying to rack it up in my head here why Kirk Cousins goes in and murders Green Bay and then gets disrespected with a dog line. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. There's just a lot of reasons for me to think that the Vikings were going to be a 3-point favorite. I wanted to move this up to a unit play, but something's telling me Vegas is trying to reel us in here because Philly, while they're strong and they're good, they're like a new strong, right? You got Jalen Hurts, new quarterback. You've got weapons on the outside with Brown and Devontae Smith. They're at home. But, I just think this is the time for the Vikings and to open up 2-0. They're plus 2.5, which once again, kind of like the Commanders game, you lose by a field goal here and you're screwed, but it's just something reeks about it. I think Vegas is trying to reel people into the Vikings side. I hope I'm not on the wrong side of it. Either way, we put a half unit on it. And moving down to our proper picks parlay for the weekend, we've got 2 college and 2 pro. I love these. You hit 2 on Saturday. You got to wait on Sunday. That's the only downside. But I took my 4 favorite plays of the week. That's Oklahoma minus 11.5, USC minus 13, Ravens minus 3.5, and the Bengals minus 7.5. We took this parlay a day later than when we laid all of our single bets. So you're kind of seeing that skew there of, the Bengals line up half a point, USC up a full point, Oklahoma up half a point. Like I said, units are a little lower this week, but that's, we're trying to bankroll manage here. I'm not forcing anything. I like making money, hate losing money. Let's just be honest with that. Make sure you follow me on the Proper Picks Pod on Twitter. All card ads and live bets get put out through there. As you can see from the recap of last week, there was games that were added. We're always adding what we like as far as it comes down on Saturdays and Sundays. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. We'll be back next week to recap these picks and preview Week 4 in college football and Week 3 in the NFL. Guys, it's moving. Let's chase the bag. Let's collect some units, and we'll see you soon.